Welcome to Bahamarico. I am your co-host Timmay from Nassau, the Bahamas.
And I'm Bryan Fonseca, as Timmy likes to emphasize. We are the Bahamarican boys. Welcome to Bahamarico. We have a couple guests again, and we are very, very, very proud to have them on the show, both of them. One, we have Royal A. Shepherd, who is the American boy today.
My fellow king, my fellow black king, gang on the pod.
Yes.
And next we have Gadiel Cartegena. I think you have the same last name as Fat Joe. Gad.
He's a Cartagena, really?
Yeah.
He spent $4 million on a watch, so maybe I don't associate with him like that.
Yeah, for our Latino audience, Gadiel Cartegena.
So we get a Latino going across, and my boy Royal has some Bahamian roots too. So I love the vibes we get going on today. You know, I love this.
You can find him on 5 Reasons Sports all over the place on Post Up, Clutch Corner. What else?
Gary writes for the site too, right?
Full Court Press. I write a little bit. I don't know. Spaces.
Whatever.
It's fun to talk about basketball. So
culture minutes, memes.
Yeah.
Culture minutes is fucking great. Oh man.
So this is a big week for the league trade deadline, but we usually do sports first and culture last, but we flip it this week. So for culture, I just want to know what everybody listening to. Like I've been listening to Benny all week because Benny said the album was dropping this week. Then he tweeted, "Oh my bad, it's coming out next month." So I've been listening to Benny the Butcher all week. And because he's about a month out, I'm about to get into maybe some Afro beats just to cleanse my palate. So what about you guys? What you're listening to?
The only reason I know who Benny the Butcher is because he did a feature with J. Cole, and J. Cole absolutely smashed that.
Smoked that.
Or J. Cole did a feature with Benny the Butcher. I'm sorry, it's Benny's song, but J. Cole got on there and kind of killed it.
Week.
But yeah, I'm a J. Cole, Toby, Wigwe. I'm not really a big Kendrick guy, but I kind of bump him sometime. But him, Big Crit is another big guy in my rotation.
Crit is dropping soon too.
Right, Crit is dropping soon. So
that's news to me. I didn't know.
Yeah, he dropped a single about 2 weeks ago. Like he has his hair, like he's back in his full country. So
he's independent, right? He's still independent.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and I think you're gonna die that way. But but yeah, like those are my guys. Mainly Toby, J. Cole, and Big Crit. But throw some T.I. in there, and you got my whole playlist.
Real Southern.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I am. I'm from South Florida.
What about you?
I listen to a little bit of everything, honestly. I've been getting in touch with my Hispanic roots recently, so Bad Bunny, Don Omar. I play Pepas when I brush my teeth in the morning, all that. Little bit of everything though. I recently just found Thames, I think is her name. Woo! She's fantastic.
So that's what I'm working now. Thames, I love Thames.
She's so good. So that song "Found" with her and Brent Faiyaz is one thing that I've been bumping a lot recently. But a little bit of everything, honestly. What country? I don't listen to country.
Yeah.
So I'm like Jimmy Butler. Jimmy. Unlike our franchise player, you listen to country.
I listen to country music too, though. I'll bump some Blake Shelton. One of my favorite songs is "Kiss My Country Ass." I love that song.
Oh, but Blake Shelton's cool though. I could rock with that.
It's background music. I will personally never get in the car and be like, "Ooh, you know what? It's a great time to listen to country right now." That's just not who I am.
I have days where I will get in the car and bump Elton John. So I mean, my thing would kind of go all over.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Piano Man. That's a hype song for me.
So I recently watched the movie Rocket Man in December, and that brought back. So my old man, he's a mechanic. So when he used to listen to Bragg McKnight, Elton John, or Bear Salmon. So watching that movie put me back in my Elton John phase. So all January, I was listening to Elton John for a month. My wife was like, "What is wrong with you? Are you what?"
Elton John slaps, bro.
Was that the first time you've seen Rocket Man, Timmy?
Yeah, because I went to Rolling Loud in December, and it was like a 5-hour flight. So I watched Rocket Man and Cherry on the plane.
Oh, you were on a plane.
But I've been an Elton John fan, like I say, from birth. My old man used to play it all the time. So I was like, I remember these songs. My wife was like, I don't want to hear this shit.
Sound like my wife too. She don't want to hear the shit I want to listen to on the radio.
No, Gad, I've been doing the same thing. I said last year, Mike Towers was my non-hip hop album of the year, which is straight. I think it's too long. It's 23, 24 songs. But this is Latin trap, drill, all this shit back to back to back to back to back. So even though my Spanish is rough, but I'm improving a lot. I'm catching the words here and there, or whatever. But I can still listen to that whole shit just straight.
Oh yeah, no. Some of the Spanish music is good. It's slept on, reggaeton, whatever you want. It is fantastic. I love it.
So
I had to listen to it a lot growing up.
I'm a soca fan, and most soca fans, she play like Spanish. I'm like, oh, this is slapping.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, being from South Florida, one of my favorite songs of all time is still Suavemente. Like, I love that song.
Gosh.
Like,
don't let me get. Every time I go on a cruise, it's like Suavemente.
Yeah.
Bésame. Yo quiero sentir tus labios besándome otra vez. Yo, we can get into that all day. I love that song on karaoke.
Hey, bro, I will get busy.
Fire.
I have an Elvis Crespo story that I don't think I could say on the show, but I will save that for off air. But like we might in some roundabout way be semi-related, but I can get into that another time. Yeah, it's mad
shit,
complicated.
Me and Timmy too.
Hey, real
shit. I might be related to Timmay.
All right, let's get into some.
So before me and Bryan start, I want to hear both of you guys. One trade you guys want the Heat to make.
Because we're gonna throw out a lot of fake trades.
Yeah, we got some stuff for y'all. But what y'all thinking?
So, in terms of trades that I would want the Heat to make, I said this last night, so I guess I'll expose myself a little bit. I don't think I'm still on the boat where I want them to trade Duncan Robinson because I don't think that we're going to get a legitimate upgrade for him. So I think if we're going to make a trade, and I think it's going to be something around the edges just to kind of clean up some of the clutter that we might have. So I said it last night on postgame too. I wouldn't be surprised if the Heat traded KZ before they traded Duncan Robinson or some players like that, just to kind of clear up some cap space, clear out the log jam a little bit. I don't have any specific players in mind that I would want. I'm fine with the roster as is, but at the beginning of the season, I was heavy on the trade Duncan shit. Now, not so much. So yeah, I don't really care what they do before trade deadline.
Could we actually stay on this point because like I've sort of flipped back and forth onto like. I'm not really sure, not even with Duncan specifically, but just in looking at the roster, as we've talked about in various group chats and on shows and stuff. But when I look at the roster, do I see a contender? Yes, from the standpoint of like, I think they can come out of the East. But you still need a couple things to break right in your direction and need to be healthy, et cetera, et cetera. Doing some sort of trade, it's like, okay, now we can be the team that other guys go through. That's what you're sort of thinking. But at the same time, it's like, are you going to give up too much potentially? So I've sort of wrestled with this idea back and forth as to whether or not they should actually take this step. But we're going to throw out a bunch of fake trades out and see where we land on this. Because I'm sort of in the same boat. I don't think you need a tinker with the roster. And I'm like, maybe Victor Oladipo is just enough, but there's still a lot in the air that you don't know about.
Just to kind of piggyback off of that a little bit, I think it's kind of the archetype of player that you can get in return that is going to make or break whether or not we do a trade. Like if we can get a legitimate 3-level score, the only way to do that is probably to trade Duncan Robinson. But I don't think that player's out on the market. So if we can't get one of those, then I mean, nothing that we do is really nothing that we do is really going to kind of take us to that next level to be better than what we already are.
What about you, Gad?
For me, I'm a big guy on like the shot creating forward/wing spot. So if you could try to get, I don't think it would happen. Marcus Morris, Harrison Barnes, Jeremy Grant, like those archetype of players where they're comfortable pretty much just like sitting in a corner waiting till they get the ball and they can just hit their catch and shoot threes. But at the same time, let's say if you're running a bench unit with Hero and whatever, then if stuff starts to break down, end of a possession, you can give it to them, and you're confident that they can more often than not get you a bucket. If the Heat could add that kind of guy, then absolutely I'm with it. But I'm with Royal. Like at this point, I don't think you're getting like fair value on Duncan Robinson relative to what his value is to the team. So he's gonna be more valuable to us than anybody else. You just need Duncan to play like Duncan, and like Bryan said, Depot's kind of got to be that guy. But I would like to see them get a 4 because I think there's gonna be a logjam of minutes in the guard spot.
All right, Timmy, let's start these fake trades because we both have 3. We're going to throw them out. I'm going to start because I want to save Timmy's last one for last. We have them split into 3 tiers. The first tier, the third tier, if we want to go 3, 2, 1, are veterans. The next one is kind of the young player tier, and the last one's kind of the more, you could say elite tier. Yeah, you could say that. So the first fake trade, obviously, we could just throw this one out there, and this is the lazy one, I would also say. It's just the Duncan Robinson for Marcus Morris thing that everybody's talking about. Now, I don't know if it's going to be straight up. I think the Heat, because Duncan Robinson's on a longer term contract, might have to actually throw in some sort of draft compensation there. But like, does Marcus Morris fit the profile of somebody, because they do need a 4? So two thumbs up from Gad.
Yeah, I would definitely trade Duncan, Casey, and Omer. And Zubac is expired. No, Zubac has 1 more year. Ibaka is expiring. Hardenstein is bunks around. So I could see them.
You would expand the trade.
Right. So, but I'm thinking they would let Omer be like their center of the future. And then, of course, he will sign Silver for the third center. But I could do Duncan. I could.
The minute you said Silver, I was out. Like,
If that's the case, if that gets him a long-term spot in Miami, I will decline the trade.
Timmy doesn't want that, but he's saying like, "Yo,
jokes aside, I would do Duncan.
Silver's got somebody's nudies, man. Like he's still getting these contracts out here."
I would do Duncan, Omer, and Casey for Mook. I would for sure.
No, for sure. I'm not 2 thumbs up like Gad. I'm more 1.5 thumbs up, but I definitely pull the trigger on it. Like the arguments that's been made is that we're trading Duncan, somebody who doesn't close, for Marcus Morris, somebody else who will come over here and still not close. And so, like, it doesn't fix a bunch, but it does help. Like, it does help solidify that backup 4 spot, considering that we don't know what's going on with Markieff in Thailand.
Yeah, we don't need somebody to
play
close
starters minutes also.
No, we don't need somebody to close. But.
And what I kind of thinking about is when Hero and Morris would be with that year when Trez and Will basically were like the 6th and 7th men of the year. Maybe Hero and Morris, and we don't care about you close if we blow out teams anyway.
Exactly, Timmy. Thank you. There's this big. They need to be on the floor for the last 5 minutes of the game.
If you're up by 20,
you need to be up 20 by the last 5 minutes of the game. It solves a lot of issues for this team.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm with that trade. Like,
okay,
get me that shot creator kind of guy.
So for me,
I think I would probably do it too. I think I would. But
he's a sneaky great shooter too.
I would also try to see, and it reunites the Morris twins, which I think is a positive, right, in some fashion. But I would also say, like, I would still want to see, and we'll get to this later, what else could I get from Duncan before being like, okay, this is probably the best I can do. Go ahead.
Oh, well, you ain't got many more days before you can see
it. Yeah. Unless you want to wait till the summer, which I don't know if people are willing to. So
yeah.
I think
I'm willing to.
Me too, because I think the market will be much more robust if you wait until the summer for the things that you can do with Duncan Robinson.
Yeah.
So the Heat, everyone's talking about the Heat and the Rockets, maybe Duncan for Wood. But my behemoth ass is actually worrying about maybe Eric Gordon for Duncan. Eric is finished. He won 6 man of the year. He finished second. Did he?
In what?
Eric Gordon. Did he win 6 man of the year? Or did he finish run up?
I think he might have won it one.
I think he might have won one time.
Right, so you have a former 6 man of the year, 32-33. He's he gets to the rim. He shoots. He doesn't mind playing off, and he's a shorter contract than Duncan. So that's my throwing out there. Eric Gordon for Duncan.
Yeah, I mean, I think in a vacuum, Eric Gordon is a better player than Duncan Robinson, and all the things that you just named, he'll probably add to Miami for the 13 games that he will play before his ass got injured. Like that's where it got me.
And that's when I jump off. He hasn't played the full season since he's a rookie.
Yeah, and that's where I get off the boat, man. It's like I'm not going to trade Duncan for somebody who's not going to be healthy. For all intents and purposes, Duncan Robinson is an Iron Man. For us, you know, whether for good or for bad, Duncan Robinson is going to show up. Eric Gordon, he'll be out half the damn season, so I'm out.
For good or for bad. do we?
You call that?
Yeah. Do we think that there's something to, because we saw what PJ Tucker did in Houston, and some people had their reservations, and in Milwaukee, and some people had their reservations because they were like, okay, is he just going to stand in the corner and shoot? And then as you see Eric Spoelstra and the team, they're able to unlock more of his game. Is there a scenario where if this Eric Gordon trade were to happen, and let's say he plays a little more than 13 games, could the Heat unlock maybe a little bit more of his skill set, even though he's in clearly the last few years of his career?
Yes, maybe just I don't think his role would get bigger at all. He would definitely be in a smaller role, but he could definitely be more efficient, maybe a little bit more creative in terms of the way that he's used. Because if you watch Houston play, it's still kind of like they're playing hardened ball. It's a lot of heavy ISOs.
Layup three
yeah, like they don't really play the in-between game. So I don't really know how skilled he is in that regard. But I would need to see some of that in Miami. So if he is able to provide it, I think we would see it. But it is a weird trade to me because Eric Gordon, like we said, is older, and I'm also of the belief that if you're clearing up, you need Victor Oladipo to work out anyways. So if you're clearing up minutes at the guard spot, that's a good thing. But if you're adding in another guy, like, can Eric Gordon play the 3 for you for a prolonged stretch? I don't really think
he's
so.
6'3". We're not the Blazers. We're not the Blazers.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think I would be out on that because Duncan, you at least can trust him to go out there and guard a Chris Middleton for 5-6 possessions at a time. Is it a successful job that he's doing? That remains to be seen. But I probably wouldn't do that because it's just too many guards for me.
Okay, I'm actually going to stay in Houston with this next one, so you have an idea of where I'm going, except I added a little bit to it. So we're going to start with Duncan Robinson. We're going to throw in KZ Okpala. We're going to throw in Omer Yurtseven. And some sort of draft compensation. I don't know if it's going to be 1 first, 2 first, a first and a second, or whatever. For Christian Wood and Jay Sean Tate.
Send it in. Send it in. Jay Sean Tate. Jay Sean Tate is a heedle. I need him right now.
Yeah, he screams he player to me for a lot of the reasons you would expect. And I don't think that they should trade him, nor they would, and they probably would ask for more. But if something like that were to be on the table, I think, because I'm not in love with the Christian Wood idea necessarily when you have PJ Tucker.
Bring me Tate.
It could make sense. It could make sense because PJ's contract is technically expiring, and he's probably not going to take the option next year, or probably want like an extra year on that deal. So you have to figure that out. And Christian Wood would play the 4, I suppose. But the Jay Sean Tate thing, I mean, like, that is a Heat player if I've ever seen one. So what do you guys think? Royal Gad, step in.
Yeah, I don't know much about Jay Sean Tate except for what Gad has told me about him.
He's so good. He's so good.
So I'm with the Jay Sean Tate shit just because Gad's in on it. But Christian Wood was enough in that deal for me. I like Christian Wood as a basketball player, and I think he potentially fits well next to Bam.
Yeah.
So it's in some ways he may fit better next to Bam than PJ does, but I think having that 1-2 punch of having PJ and
PJ's gonna be almost like 36 next year. I don't mind PJ coming off the bench. Like, I don't mind Tucker being a bench player next year.
I don't mind Wood being the bench player. I don't care. Like, I just think I think that's a good 1-2 punch to have at the 4.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm with it.
And I think Houston could be talked into that too if they get enough draft compensation, and depending on how high they are on Omer. But I think Omer could go on some other teams and play a good amount of center. It's just he's not really, like, they don't have a role for him here right now. Dedmon's playing that role, so.
I will say this, though, because if we're adding in draft capital, like, obviously I love the Jay Sean Tate, the Christian Wood. I like the fits of both of those players in Miami. But I feel like draft capital, especially at this deadline from the Miami Heat, should absolutely be reserved to see if you can make a big swing in the offseason.
We're getting to that.
Okay, so that's just, like, that's where it's like proceed with caution for all these things where we actually have to add draft capital because, like, fillers and sweeteners off the bench, by all means, send them all. But draft capital is something that it's only going to gain value from here on out, and there are some players that could really help put this team over the top. But we'll get to that.
That's why I would hesitate, because it's like we might, like, because if you're looking at it, there's something to be said for, even though you want to strike now because you can potentially win a title now, there's something to be said for, all right, see how far you can push this, whether it's good enough or not. And then in the offseason, it's like, all right, now we know what we have to do. Because at the same time, Tyler Hero is going to be extension eligible. And I think some people would still be cloudy on that. Like, what is it that you're going to pay him? And do you want to, like, keep him for 4 years and whatever hundreds of millions it could be? So
they're going to give him as close to the max as they can get. Like, they're going to try and work with him. But I think Tyler Hero is going to get pretty much.
Especially after he wins $6 million a year.
Yeah, like, he's pretty much going to be able to call his own shot, like, when it comes to that extension. And that, to me, has me a little worried.
Right. So my trade would be in the Tyler Hero draft class, Kentucky fan, PJ Washington. He only makes $4 million. Only makes $4 million. Naturally has a relationship with Tyler. I like 6'9". He blocks some shots. He plays some defense. He hits some threes. He's a man started to come off the bench. Only makes $4 million. So that's your Morris and KZ barrier. But of course, he's a young player, so maybe you have to throw in a pick. Maybe you send Omer to the Thunder to unlock the 23rd first round pick, or maybe you add in Omer because we know the Hornets need a center. Shout out to my guy Kai Jones, but between Jones and Richards, you really need a center for their squad, and Mason Plumlee is not it. So, and with PJ, he has not demand like Hero. You could make him wait another year to prove he deserves the money. So I think PJ fits perfectly with Bam or as his backup, and I would do it. So using the same Morris, KZ, Omer, and maybe a pick situation for PJ.
Gad, you can take this one first.
The funny thing is, I came across his like 42-point game that he had against the Kings the other day for some reason because I was just bored in class watching videos of NBA players, and I was intrigued. Like, there's something there. I think the Heat could actually make something work there. It's just I don't think he's playing for the coach that drafted him, like the front office that drafted him or whatever. So there is something to be said about a player that kind of has a skill set. I personally really liked him when he was at Kentucky. I wanted him over Hero. Obviously, I was wrong. There's a reason why I'm sitting here playing like dorm room GM. But no, I like that actually. I would send KZ, Omer, or Markeith, Omer, and a second. I'm not throwing a first their direction because I don't think it's warranted. But yeah, I'm in with that. Like, you could potentially, we talk about, who's going to be the long-term fit next to Bam at the 4. I think PJ Washington could actually end up being a guy that could be the long-term fit. So getting him plus his bird rights.
I'm with that.
Yeah. So watching Bam abuse that boy last night didn't do him any favors, in my opinion. But I am totally on board with getting PJ Washington. I like him, bro. I think
bench player.
I think he's a pretty good bench player. I think if I had to rank him, I think he'd be a little bit behind Christian Wood in terms of the 4 that I would try and go after. But yeah, he's right there in terms of people who fit well next to Bam. He can shoot the ball. He can score the ball. He can defend a little bit, unless the person's name is Bam Adebayo. But you know, I'm with it, bro. I do it.
Yeah, I think my memory of him, because I remember they do these tournaments out here in New York City, or did pre-COVID. I don't know if they're gonna be back, but Geico Nationals, which used to be Dick's Nationals, Dick's Sporting Goods, and PJ Washington was on one of the teams here. I just remember him because like RJ Barrett was here, Bruce Brown, I don't remember his name, Bryan Bowen. There you go, the dude with the hair. And PJ Washington was one of the players, and I remember him like elbowing the shit out of people on post-ups, and that has always stayed with me ever since then. So yeah,
Heat culture right there.
You can take that with what you want, but
yeah, Dick's National is a crazy name for a basketball tournament.
Yeah,
and
That's a crazy name.
Look, Geico got the sponsor after, so it was like, all right, now you can call it a different name. But yeah, RJ Barrett was really good.
we got our final round, Brian.
Oh, all right. This is one that I am not quite. I'm not sure about any of these, to be clear. I'm just saying, like, we're just putting shit together and putting offers together. This last one I'm really not sure about because this player has been divisive in some conversations we've seen as of late. Duncan Robinson, Markeith Morris, Tyler Hero, Max Strus, KZ Okpala, Omer Yurtseven, multiple firsts for Bradley Beal. Yes or no?
And probably like a Bertans, I guess, or something like that.
No, because the money ain't going to work. That's why you need all that shit to make the money work if you're not going to use PJ Tucker.
Well, the money doesn't have to necessarily match up 100% in order to get this trade done. I think you have to come within like 20% or so.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, exactly.
We are hard capped though.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. So you got to get real. You got to get really.
Is it possible to do it like 7 players? Is it possible to do like a 7-for-1 trade? I don't think so.
Oh well, they did it with Kevin Garnett.
You can, but you have to find six minimum players.
Yeah, and the Wizards will probably happily cut some of their roster to bring some of these dudes in.
Yeah, but in this scenario, we're still keeping Bam, Jimmy, Kyle, and we'll have Brad and PJ. Oh no, we don't have PJ no more, but we keep Brad.
No, you keep PJ in this. You keep PJ. Yeah, that's why.
Pack their ass up. I don't see what the problem is. I don't understand why it's so divisive. Bradley Beal is more naturally talented at basketball than any of those guys that you just named. And he's definitely the type of scorer that we're looking for to complement the rest of the guys on this roster. I think you can fill out the bench. You're still keeping some of them in Deadman. You got some of your two-way guys who played well this year that you can keep on this roster. But, yeah, pack all their ass up. Bye.
I think, to me, Gad, I don't know what you think, but to me, this feels more like a summer trade in which which then you would retain. You'd probably try to retain like a Strus or somebody like that, just cause. Mm-hmm. But and Markeith wouldn't even be on the team. But still, like it would look something like that probably. Gad, what do you think?
Like, I just hate these type of scenarios because theoretically, yes, absolutely. Like, if you can get Bradley Beal, Kyle Lowry, Victor Oladipo, PJ Tucker, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, like that group right there. You could throw 5 me's on the bench. It does not matter, right? Like, run those guys into the ground 40 plus minutes. I don't care. That's one hell of a team. But at the same time, like, Bradley Beal is a guy that really, really good at scoring, really, really good playmaker. Not particularly good at really anything else. Maybe we just haven't seen that because he hasn't really played for a good coach yet. But at the same time, you think like 10 years into a career, you know who a player is, except for PJ Tucker, of course. And I do not want to be involved with the Bradley Beal extension. So it's really like 50-50 for me. Like, obviously, I love the player that Beal is, and I love that you'd probably end up winning a championship this year. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that team would win a championship if for some reason.
Here's the thing. I'm with you on that because I'm looking at, like, I'd rather use a similar package and try to see if I can get a different type of star, which we may get to in a second with Timmy. But Bradley Beal would be my first choice if
he'd be our third best player.
Somebody. Like, I understand all the reasons you would get him, right? Because of the scoring and things like that. I'm also curious. I don't know if Jimmy Butler and Bradley Beal get along. I could see that not happening, but I'm not sure, right? I just don't know Bradley Beal personality-wise, like, if he can get along with Jimmy Butler. Like, that's something that I would wonder about. I feel like they can, but I just don't know. So
he's one of those I'm doing my own research guys.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you know.
He's one of those nice characters. I don't know. Look, bro. Y'all might have just swayed me off of that shit, bro. I don't know. The money part, I don't really care as much about because it's not my money. Like, I don't care about Mickey Harrison.
But that's an ugly extension. Like, sure. I think it's 5 for 2,
and you
45 or something
Jimmy
like that.
One. You already have the Jimmy one, right?
Well, the thing is, like, Beal's not going to get, like, I think worse over that time frame. It's just he's simply not worth the money at the time of signing it.
Injury concerns. Remember, it was like 3 years with that calf. Yeah. Remember, Beal had 3 years straight.
Timmy, let's just get to the next one because the next guy,
Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, the next guy I think I might do it for.
Donovan Mitchell, bestie of Bam Adebayo.
What the hell are we? Are we giving them all of Carnival Cruise Lines? Like, come on.
Yeah, I'm interested. How does that work? Like, how can we get him? Because I'm fine with anything.
Yeah, so realistically, I don't think Mitchell's gonna ever get traded. I think he's gonna become a free agent and come to Miami. But realistically, it'll take about the same package. I think Mitchell actually might be a bit cheaper than. He's cheaper than
like $5 million or something like that.
Yeah, so it'll be the same Hero, Duncan,
Duncan, Picks.
Yeah, Picks.
Struce, maybe.
Sign me up.
Yep.
I don't care what it costs.
I think I don't think. See, I don't think this is that outrageous.
Give him Chris Quinn too.
Yeah.
Back his ass up.
Every White Heat employee is on their way to Salt Lake City right now.
Whoa. Andy can't go nowhere, man.
Yeah. Andy, yeah.
Yo, we need OG calculator here, bro. We need him.
I think similar to Bradley Beal, this feels more like an offseason one, except I think this one is actually more realistic. And I'm guessing, but here's why. As Greg Savannah reported, right? Our guy, he's like, yo, Donovan Mitchell, if he's going to ask out, it would be to Miami or New York.
And New York is a bit like 3 notches down. So it's Miami for number 1. Yeah.
Which, obviously, right?
And we know that Mitchell, Tatum, and Bam is the new group chat. We knew that from the bubble. Like, just how we know the Wade, Carmelo, the LeBron, like, they have their group chat.
But not even that. It's like, to me, it's pretty simple. If Utah loses in round 1 or round 2, which is probably going to happen. Sorry, Utah. It's probably going to happen again. Donovan Mitchell, I could see him asking out, demanding a trade, because we're seeing more reports about him being fucking tired of Rudy Gobert.
2 days ago, the quote.
I'm trading Rudy before I'm trading Donovan.
They agree.
But I don't think Rudy asks out. I think Donovan.
I think Mitchell says
Rudy could write me a 5-page MLA format like love letter, and I'm sending him halfway across the country to Charlotte. Like, there's places you can send Rudy.
Baguettes up, bitch. Get out.
Yeah, literally. Like, no, Donovan Mitchell. He's the type of shot creator that you build around. I understand Rudy is probably their more impactful player right now because Mitchell doesn't have the whole defense thing figured out, and at times he gets very trigger happy.
And he's 6'1" guard and shooting guard. So I understand. He lied on us. I always thought he was 6'3" until the NBA did the real thing. I was like, you're 6'1"?
He's got like a 6'9" wingspan though, right?
Yeah,
Or
that's why
he's
he's called Spider. He has crazy wingspan.
Yeah.
Or he's just conspiring against Rudy Gobert and is like, yo, I'm gonna sabotage this shit until I get the fuck out of here, yo. Look. He's in Utah, all right. Like, let's be honest. Like, I don't think he wants to necessarily like make his career there. If he did, we probably wouldn't be seeing all these leaks about like, oh, he's not really that happy. He wants to be. So I'm just sort of reading tea leaves here, and I think if Utah loses in the second round, which again is probably going to happen.
First round would probably be the Dallas. Oh, if Luka beats them boys.
They could play Dallas, Memphis.
No, Memphis. I think Memphis
they get clapped by anybody, honestly.
Look, I'll tell you
they don't play defense in the playoffs.
If they play Dallas in the first round, Dallas has the best player in that series.
Yep.
And Dallas nearly like beat the Clippers last year, if not for Kawhi Leonard just being superhuman the last 5 quarters of that series. Like Dallas is good. Dallas could absolutely beat Utah.
And they have Dorian Finney-Smith, who for some reason is now worth the first-round pick.
I'm so confused.
I like Dorian Finney-Smith a lot. I didn't throw him in here though because I don't think they.
I do like DFS. I don't think he's worth a late lottery pick.
But yeah, Donovan Mitchell thing is interesting to me because I think that can actually happen because I just don't get the sense that he loves.
And I don't know if you saw Wade said, I don't want the pressure of keeping him in Utah. Like, don't think I'm here to save. I don't want that pressure on me. Don't put that on me. I'm just here to make the team good. I'm not gonna beg Donovan to stay in me of all people.
AKA, he's gonna send his ass to Miami. That's what he's saying.
It's still his part of that ownership group.
Well, Danny Ainge is involved there now, so he's almost gonna trade him to Miami. That's the issue. That Danny Ainge with Pat Riley. Honestly, I don't see Donovan Mitchell making it to Miami. I hate to be a Debbie Downer here. I genuinely believe he's going to end up in New York, and they are going to give up a Godfather offer for him. It's going to be everything. They have a package waiting for some type of player that I get not wanting to use it on Ben Simmons, but they're going to use it on somebody at some point, whether it's Dame, Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, who probably won't end up asking out because Minnesota's actually good. There's going to be a player that's going to shake loose, and the Knicks are going to get him, sadly.
Would you revisit the Damian Lillard thing?
Like, I understand how great he is, but
Larry, I mean, I less like what Larry does on both sides of the ball. Like, Dame does not play defense. Like he does not play defense. Like I expect him, but
Larry's defense to me has kind of been overrated. Like based off what I've seen.
Slipped?
Yeah, he slipped a little.
Yeah, I think it's
still
slipped.
a man-to-man defense. The help defense, he's still wonderful.
Yeah.
He's a great basketball man, great facilitator. But if we're talking Dame here, I'm packing Kyle Lowry ass up too.
I'm just asking because he's injured, but like we don't. It's one of those things where the team is bad, they're tanking. It might not be that serious. I mean, shit, we saw it last year with Kyle Lowry. Like they just sat him at some point, and he got rest. And this year he's been, knock on wood, healthy as a result. So
but Dame is one of those guys that you talk about who can carry your team in the playoff series. So it's like,
it's Dame's more interesting to me than Bradley Beal, kind of by a large margin.
I agree.
There's a gap.
Like I think Dame would be your best, maybe second best player. I don't know. Depends on how you value defense. Yeah. But he would be that level of player. I don't think Bradley Beal is better than Bam Adebayo if he plays on the Heat.
Facts.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't, but
you think Brad would be the second best player on that team?
On our team, I think he's better than Bam.
I think he'll be the best scorer.
Yeah, absolutely. No question. No question.
But like in terms of overall, like the shit that Bam does on defense.
Bam is the best defensive player in the league. Like there's nothing that's going to change that in my mind. But that he has his moments on offense that, I just like Bradley Beal's scoring ability enough to be comfortable putting him with Bam right now. I'm not saying long term. I'm just saying like if he's on the team right now, I think Bradley Beal is a better player. Maybe in 2 years, Bam, takes that over. But
the point is though that you want them playing together.
Right. Exactly.
So like who cares, right?
Like I don't give a shit. Or the second best player. They here, we win. Yeah.
All right, let's get to some Miami Heat themed this or that's.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here. Timmy, you have something else to throw in before we
complete
this transition?
I actually was about to do it, but you did, so you go first.
All right, cool. I'm just going to freaking just rat-a-tat-tat here. Christian Wood, Marcus Morris, or Duncan Robinson?
What?
Christian Wood, Marcus Morris, or Duncan Robinson?
Yes.
Oh, I got to pick between one of the three.
Yes.
Marcus Morris, for me.
Christian Wood.
Timmy.
I'm with Marcus Morris.
Okay, no votes for Duncan Robinson. Bradley Beal or Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell.
Bradley Beal or Brandon Ingram.
Brandon Ingram.
BI. Yeah. BI.
Brandon Ingram or Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell.
Okay. Brandon Ingram is an interesting one to me. I wanted to put him.
So before we
joined the
network, me and Bryan was like, we thought we was like send Duncan and Hero for BI. That was like we saying like for weeks.
Yeah, I was doing that all summer. I was doing that all summer.
I don't blame you. I can't wait to see where Ingram ends up. That man is really good.
People are saying that Ingram would be like, in theory, if you were to do this, the 4 next to Bam, and I'm like, if you get him right now, he could play the 2.
Yeah, that's what he's going to
be. He is not a 4 in the NBA. I'm sorry.
Nah.
He's going to play the 2. Like that's what he's going to do. But I think the argument that was made for Brandon Ingram is one that's still relevant for today. Brandon Ingram is the type of player that can bridge both eras. He can bridge the Jimmy Butler era, and he can bridge and he can transition into the Bam Adebayo era seamlessly because he's ready to play now.
And he's young.
More than anyone else we talked about, except maybe Donovan. More than anyone else we talked about, Brandon Ingram is the guy that I would be looking at to try to get. But New Orleans, I just don't think they're going to trade him.
Like, why are they trying to get Eric Gordon or CJ? Why?
Yeah, they want to compete. Remember, Timmy, they try to get Kyle Lowry this summer. They think that they're going to be competitive or whatever, and Zion's still out. So
yeah, it all depends on what type of player they believe Zion's going to be, what type of player you surround him with. If they think he's just going to be a bully ball inside player, then you want to surround him with shooters. But even if he's a playmaker, because you saw him when they played him last year, they played kind of like a point guard.
I've read they think he's going to be like a super, like almost a LeBron. Like he could bully, but he could also run. So they want to build him around like you build around a LeBron. So they want scorers and shooters. I
like CJ for them, honestly. I do like CJ for them.
Yeah, somebody who can play off ball and take over, facilitating from time to time. You're going to need a combo guard next time if you're going to play him out there on the wing like that. So, I mean, it makes sense for some of those guys that you just named.
PJ Washington or Mo Bamba?
PJ
Washington.
Because I don't really think Baum should play the 4. Like people, so I'd say PJ because people think Baum should go at the 4. I don't think so. So if Baum was a 4 at this best, I might say Bamba, but no, PJ.
Well, 4 or 5 is whatever to me. I just think that Bam should be next to somebody who could shoot and do shit, right?
I just want the better player next to Bam is really all I care about. Like 4 or 5, just get me the one who's good at basketball.
Like we saw it work to some degree with Myers Leonard and Kelly Olynyk. You know what I mean? So if either of those two were a rim protector, they'd probably still be here actually. So
I'm not racist.
What did you say?
If Leonard didn't say that word on the stream, he'd still be here. He had a $9 million contract. Like he threw away money.
Yeah, he was trade bait anyway. We never would have got Trevor Ariza had he not said that.
Right, that's true.
That's a crazy sentence. We never would have gotten Trevor Ariza.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We would have been better off because they would have cashed that chip in for a better player.
Yeah,
I think they were just trying to get off of the contract because they didn't want that type of publicity around him. So.
Does he still play Call of Duty on stream? By the way,
I have not watched that man stream since
he probably
day.
Plays.
I unfollowed him that day
in solidarity with the Jewish community.
Apparently he's doing work to rehab himself. So I mean,
I've seen a few posts about him. Talking.
I haven't been following along. I'm not.
He's probably playing Call of Duty privately right now.
I don't know if that's
private
better.
server.
I don't know if that's better. Yeah,
it's not.
It's
probably an addiction.
If any team you call for a star asks about PJ Tucker, do you immediately hang up or do you continue talking?
It depends on what team is calling me and what star they talking about.
Yep, I'm all ears for literally every play. Kendall said it best. He says it all the time. Every single player has a price, unless your name is Giannis. Like every single player does. So I'll listen. It's gonna be very, very rare situation where I'm like, okay, you can have PJ Tucker here. But yeah, I'm all ears.
Do you want Goran back?
No.
What is the role? Because like if
as a buyout.
Oh, this season?
Yeah, like next week. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I want him. I'd bring him back in the
A lot
summer.
of Heat fans seem like they want him back, and it's kind of surprising to me, though I think it's more sentimental than anything else. Go
It
ahead,
is. It's definitely more sentimental, but I mean, like you motherfuckers watched Goran Dragic play basketball last year. Like I don't want him. I don't understand what value does he add as a basketball player to the team. None. He makes everybody feel
Culture.
good. Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, culture his ass to a 1-day contract so he can retire, but we already gave his jersey away. So it's like I don't like how much do we really value him as a culture player if we gave his jersey to Kyle Lowry? Like I get it. I get the sentimental value, but as a basketball player,
Yeah, I don't want him.
he's cooked. Like it's over with.
I think he ends up in Dallas in 3 weeks.
You mean Slovenia, Texas, Slovenia?
Yeah.
Yeah,
In 3 weeks.
I'm with it.
Rank this not great looking list of between potential buyout / free agent point guards. John Wall, Kemba Walker, Isaiah Thomas, Chris Dunn, who's currently not on the roster.
That list got worse as you went along.
John Wall, and I'm flushing everybody down the toilet. That's it.
I think you named them in order.
Bring
like,
me Mr. Dougie. Bring me the Dougie.
Yeah,
Bring me
You
the
want
Dougie.
John Wall? Look, if you could get him for a buyout,
Absolutely. What?
like
No
absolutely.
question.
But I just because I know Houston wants to get stuff back for him, but that whole situation is just bizarre to me. I don't see why you wouldn't just play him, and why, if you're on another side, why you would trade for him if he's getting $40 million.
A year.
crazy. That contract is absolutely nuts at this point in his career. But yeah, I think if you get John Wall on the buyout market, you're still getting a player who can play in the league. Like you saw him last year. Like he can still be effective in pockets. And if we're getting him as a backup point guard, I'm all in on that shit, bro.
If you thought that list was something,
Stargate.
wait till you see the end of this list. Wait till you see the end of this list. Rank these bigs. Jahlil Okafor.
Oh, you a pain freak.
Thaddeus Young.
Oh.
Paul Millsap. Robin Lopez. Chris Silva.
All right, so we're going to stop the list at Robin Lopez. That's where the list ended. Mentally, I don't know what you said to end that sentence.
Royal couldn't even get the words out, yo.
Bro, I was like, why did you do that, bro? You could have you didn't have to do that.
Yo, so we were texting. Timmy and I were texting about this shit earlier, and then he mentioned something about Silva, and I was looking at this list, and I was like, I'm gonna put him on this list. He was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I don't need.
Have you seen the photo? It's like 4 soldiers. Oh wait. Have you seen the photo? It's like 4 soldiers, and they're all in a line, and then there's a clown in between all the soldiers. That's where we're at right now.
Yeah. So I think if I had to do this list, I think Thad Young was the best player that you named on that list. Yeah. Thad Young.
I'll go Lopez after Thad.
Brooke Lopez because only
Robin.
We said
Robin. I'm sorry,
Robin.
I'm taking Millsap second for sure.
I'm taking Robin Lopez solely off of the great memories that I have of him cooking Hassan Whiteside every time that they played. Millsap will go third.
Okafor.
I'm not. Those are not NBA players.
I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised that Jahlil Okafor is not somewhere, like not even in Europe or something. But I'm just surprised that he's not somewhere right now.
He plays for the Nigerian Tigers.
Well,
my favorite team.
Yeah.
So,
Look,
I mean,
World Cup qualifyings are going on right now, so he might be playing in those.
He gets something wrong.
Yeah. Rank these former Heat players in terms of how much you'd want to see them back.
Where are you getting this list from, Bryan?
I'm making them.
If I see Chris Silva on this list, I'm leaving this team immediately.
He's a current
former, because he's current technically.
He's future former.
Okay.
That 10 days, it's coming
long
close.
as shit. Gadiel, Cartagena.
For real. 40 days and 40 nights are much longer when it's talking about Chris Silva.
This is the last one of these, and then I'll toss it to Timmy. Rank these players in terms of how much you want to see them back. I have a feeling you're probably not going to want to see any of them back, but whatever. I just want to torture everybody here. Goran Dragic, Rodney Magruder,
The Scavenger?
Kelly Olynyk, Tyler Johnson, Kendrick Nunn, and Myers Leonard.
Nobody.
I'll take Kelly Olynyk with this current team.
I'm a Kelly O fan. I've always been a Kelly O fan. I liked the way that he played while he was in Miami. He got cooked a lot of times because he was up and down, but He was essentially what Duncan is this year. Like in some games,
Yeah. That's actually that's a crazy comparison because it's true.
I had never thought of that.
Wow, that's facts.
But yeah, like I would definitely take Kelly O back out of anybody else on that list. Honestly, Kendrick Nunn wasn't that bad last year. And I was a Rodney Magruder fan while he was here because he played above his talent level and he played hard. So those are the three guys that I would actually consider. Everybody else on that list should be burned.
Rodney Magruder walked so Gabe Vincent could run.
That's right.
Who was my boy Timmy that I didn't mention? Briante Weber.
Yeah, Briante Weber.
That's
Don't get me started.
Top of the list, bro.
Briante Weber, he started barking at the beginning of a game because you knew he was playing full court defense the minute the ball was inbounded.
He was a fantastic college defender. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, at VCU.
Yes.
I love great value Patrick Beverly, bro. I love him. Great value. I love him, bro.
I think he averaged 4 steals a game in college or something crazy like that. Timmy, what was the other one that I had? The Miami Heat theme intros.
It wasn't James Johnson.
No. The one that I asked Ethan, and he was like, "Oh, fuck everything on that list except for In the Air Tonight." It was like Miami Heat intro themes. It was In the Air Tonight.
Oh, he hated Imagine Dragons.
It was the Trick Daddy one, and that was when he went on the Imagine Dragons one rant. He fucking hates the Imagine Dragons.
He hates Seven Nation Army too.
Yeah, he didn't like that one either.
That's it. That's the one he hates.
What the hell?
He hates Seven Nation Army because it kind of got like played out after the Big Three era. They were still playing it like on the Hassan teams. Like,
playing Seven Nation Army for a 37-year-old Luol Deng is a wild proposition. Let me tell you that much. Dun 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 dun. While Luol Deng airballs a 3 from the corner. Come on now. We had to rebuild for a reason.
Yeah.
We had to reload.
I like the song they have now, though. I like the Trick Daddy joint that they have now. It feels very Udonis Haslem-ish.
Yeah, that's kind of like why we made it the theme for the Clutch Corner because it just makes so much sense, bro. It's Miami through and through, and it just kind of sets the tone for what you want to accomplish with the team, bro.
So before we get out there,
I just
want to know what's the best player you guys think that gets traded on Thursday? The best player who switches teams? I think it's CJ for me. I think it's CJ.
I think it's Domantas Sabonis.
Ooh, you think Sabonis is better than CJ?
This season, I do. But I mean, it's. I don't know if CJ gets moved. I think Domantas does. I think CJ should, but I feel like Portland might talk themselves into. Let's try to build around Damon CJ one more time.
I think I'm flipped on you. I don't think Sabonis gets moved. I think CJ does, but that's only because of the weird situation between Sacramento and Indiana. I don't know who said no to that trade. If Indiana was the one who said no to Sabonis for De'Aaron
that's batshit crazy.
Yeah, it's ludicrous. Stupid. If you think Sabonis isn't worth giving up for De'Aaron Fox, then I don't know what.
When you already have Tyrese already, like it's stupid.
I don't know what package somebody can offer you like that.
But I don't think this team is gonna do it. I think they should though. But I think Sabonis is going to go somewhere. I think he might go to Washington because we're seeing that.
Yeah, I saw they want to keep Beal, so they might trade.
That's not even the team I'm going to. If I'm Dallas, that's who I'm trying to get at the trade deadline. I'm not
Sabonis.
Yes, I'm not trading. No, I'm not trading Porzingis. I'm trying to because they have the contracts you can do it. The problem is Tim Hardaway Jr. might have to be one of them, and he's hurt. So what would that do for Indiana? But Dallas, I mean, one, he can play next to Porzingis and Luka, I think. And two, the main reason they like the white star.
We know Cuban.
You think Sabonis can play next to Porzingis and Luka?
Yeah, I think he could. I think Dallas
he can play next to Porzingis. I don't see it with Luka because Luka needs the ball and Sabonis also needs the ball. Porzingis and Sabonis would be nice until you have to move your feet defensively.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And then you're cooked.
Well, defensively they've been good so far. If you stick Sabonis in the high post, then you could sort of like make that shit happen. But the main thing is like they like them white stars down in Dallas, and I think that's
fair. That's fair.
For sure.
So, but I think that's who we should probably get.
That's interesting.
I want to say, I feel like it should be Fox. Like Fox should get traded. There's really no direction. And I think he's better than the aforementioned players. But part of me really, I would love to see that in New Orleans. That would actually be one hell of a little trio.
Isn't he from New Orleans? Isn't he? I think he's
De'Aaron Fox.
Don't know.
Right, let me use the Google box.
Yeah, because someone made a tweet about how bad New Orleans smells, and he got
He went to
upset.
high school in Texas, but he is from New Orleans. He was
Oh,
born
okay.
in New Orleans.
Okay.
There you go.
Good call.
So I would like to see that. And I really want to see, just for the sake of what the timeline would look like, I really want to see Randall get traded for an underwhelming package. Like, I want it to be something where Knicks fans are like, "What are we doing here?"
Taylor Horton
Because-
Tucker and Kendrick Nunn.
They're gonna burn my
2027
city.
First round.
Like,
Oh,
I don't know.
man.
I don't know how it would end up, but like, send
Oh,
Randall to like.
I can tell you, this city will not be in good shape. I will go to Manhattan. I'll top on the train, go to Manhattan right now. I will walk around and I'll let you know, like, there'll be a lot of like just fucking angry motherfuckers just
Oh yeah.
everywhere.
Most
More than normal though.
Bing bong, fuck my life.
Thank
So
you,
I would
Jen.
love to see that. I want to see the chaos.
That'd be
But I don't
good.
think it's gonna be too active, honestly. I don't think too many big names will get moved.
No, yeah, I think there'll be a lot of it'll be activity, but it won't be like any. I think maybe 1 or 2 stars at most.
Okay,
when I say
let-
star, I
so-
mean like all star.
So let's end on this note then. What do we actually, because we did all the hypotheticals and shit we would like to see, whatever. But what do we think actually happens at the trade deadline? And it could be Miami focused, or it could be both. You could a Miami thing that you think might happen at the trade deadline, and then something else in the NBA that might actually happen.
I think because of the Herald report, I think we have to. I think it was God. I think it was God or Marco who was saying we have to get a 4. I think it was God. We had to get a 4. KZ, we don't know what happened to his wrist. Morris has played in 44 games. If you get enough for a run, we know Spo always crushes after the All-Star break. We need a backup 4, another backup 4. So I think you have to use the contract of KZ and Morris, and maybe use someone else as a like use Omer as a sweetener. We need a 4. The Heat will get a 4. Somewhere I'm seeing a Iggy and a Winslow and Iggy Crowder type of situation maybe happening.
Nicholas Batum.
I would love it.
I'm with it. I don't
take
see
that
why
one.
they would take the potato chips that we're
Trash.
giving them, but
The trash.
That's the one that I think that they would actually get, because they made that move with Portland this week, and now
Rocco, so yeah. So
they're
if
crowded
you,
at that 3-4 spot.
Yeah.
So I think they got to consolidate and get rid of.
so
either
if you
Batum
think
or
that Rocco
Morris.
comes back and you're gonna because it's a player, it's a team option. So if you're gonna release Batum anyway to pay Rocco, at least get Omer back for Batum.
that's
you know?
fair. That's fair.
So
But
that's
honestly,
where-
like Rocco's the worst of the 3 in my opinion, between Morris, Batum, and Rocco. So
He's
committing
not
to
having a good
him,
season at all.
yeah, like I don't know. But I would love Batum. I'm with Timmy though. Like, just get that backup 4 for the Heat. That's really all I want to see them do. If they make a bigger trade, by all means. But just use those little end of bench contracts that you can. Get a 4, and then see how it plays out. Still gotta have some confidence in this team. They're playing really good basketball when they're healthy.
Yeah, so I think I was with you guys earlier, but something about Spo trotting out that too big lineup kind of signaled that he was preparing for life without the Heat making a move. That to me is what I see as being the realistic thing. Miami not making a move already. What's up, bro? You and Spider-Man come to chill with me? I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't see I don't see the Heat making a move. I honestly don't see very much happening at the deadline at all. Like, we might see a few smaller things, but I don't see Miami making a move at all.
Hey, that buyout market would be something. I think they'll get somebody there. They'll probably get somebody there. I don't know who. They'll
Millsap,
probably get
I'm with
somebody
it. If Millsap shakes loose from Brooklyn for some reason, gets traded and bought out somewhere, I am totally in on.
Well, he's only a minimum contract, so he'll just get waived. Wouldn't be a
there.
bummer.
Timmy, you also said Thad Young, and I was like, he's got to get traded,
Right.
doesn't he?
So-
But then
so
you said the
Pop-
Spurs
Pop
never
has a-
make a trade.
Pop only has done one deadline trade ever. So
Look, if Thad Young gets bought
I
out,
don't see Thursday being the first, being the second. So I think Thad gets bought out.
if Thad Young gets bought out, that's your PJ Tucker backup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think he's choosing Miami.
Well, he can't go back to
I
Chicago.
don't think he's getting bought out.
He can't go back to Chicago because unless he gets traded again and bought out. So if he gets bought out, he can't go to Chicago. Will he go to the next just not play behind?
I'm thinking Milwaukee.
Okay. Yeah.
I think
Hey,
Milwaukee
Brook
should get
insurance.
back Robin Lopez. Shit. They can't
Yeah.
get Brook. If Brook can't play, Robin Lopez, that's another name that if he gets bought out, I would pay attention.
Robin Lopez doesn't provide the same kind of spacing that Brook does, though, to open up the floor for Giannis.
But they don't have any backup bigs. They've been playing Portis like a million minutes, so they need one more big man. Because remember, the whole point of letting Boogie go was to have a spot it's still stupid to me because I said back then
they got Greg Monroe back now.
I saw this morning, yeah, on a 10-day.
That's a blast from the past.
Yeah, on a 10-day, yeah. But I still don't think they'll get someone better. They should have just kept Cousins. I understand keeping your options open, but I don't think they'll be able to get somebody better than Boogie in the next.
Yeah, like
2
15 and 10. They let him go, whatever that was.
Yeah.
Like, come on. All right, Timmy, take us home.
Yeah, man. So thank you guys for coming to Bahamarican Island. It's gonna be a lit week. I can't wait to watch you guys on Clutch Corner and Full Cup Rest with it because this is gonna be a lit week. So thank you guys, and we will do this again, especially when more music comes. We're gonna have a strictly music episode, like in a few weeks. Like I'm with that shit.
And programming note for the people: we are doing a crossover with Feel the Heat Tuesday,
which will be tomorrow night. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We'll be doing a crossover, a full trade breakdown. So I hope that trades happen.
It's gonna be live. It's not gonna be live to tape. Like, so y'all be able to comment, do all that shit, whatever. A lot of 5 RSA. I mean, this week especially, there's gonna be a lot of live. So
you're
gonna see Gad and Royal on a lot of shit as well. So
Ethan better pay me. I'm gonna do one episode of everything.
So thank you, boys, and I'll see y'all next time.
Thank you.